Hello everybody. If you want to see the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 793, The Auction of Impossible Things. UpA Advanced. On a wet October evening, a long queue curved around the front of the old municipal theatre in the centre of the city. The rain shone on the pavement like varnish, and people stood patiently beneath umbrellas, murmuring with the sort of quiet excitement usually reserved for rare concerts or championship finals. Above the entrance, a large banner flapped in the wind. The Auction of Impossible Things, one night only. Most people assumed it was an elaborate marketing stunt. Yet the ticket price had been astonishingly high, and the event had sold out within minutes. Curiosity, after all, is a powerful force. Among the crowd stood Arthur Bellamy, a lecturer in philosophy who had purchased his ticket with the last of his monthly salary. His friends had laughed when he told them. "You do not seriously believe they will sell anything impossible," one of them had said. Arthur had shrugged. "I'm not paying for belief," he replied. "I am paying for the opportunity to be surprised." Inside, the theatre was dimly lit, with velvet curtains and rows of polished wooden seats. At the centre of the stage stood a single podium and a glass display case. The audience settled, whispering eagerly. At precisely 8 o'clock, a tall woman in a dark suit walked onto stage. Her posture was perfect, her voice calm and confident. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "welcome. Tonight you will witness the sale of several rare items. Each of them possesses a property that most people consider impossible." A ripple of amused laughter travelled through the hall. The woman smiled slightly. "Our first item." An assistant rolled forward a small pedestal upon which rested a simple silver watch. "This watch," the auctioneer said, "allows its owner to revisit one single moment from their past, only once. When the wearer activates it, they will return to that moment and experience it again exactly as it occurred." A murmur spread through the theatre. "Opening bid, £10,000. Hands rose immediately. Arthur felt a strange tightening in his chest as the bids climbed higher and higher. 40,000, 60, 90. Finally, a woman in the front row purchased the watch for £120,000. She clutched it as if it were a fragile relic. The second item appeared, a sealed envelope. "This envelope," announced the auctioneer, "contains the complete answer to one question about your future." The bidding became even more intense. Arthur remained still, watching carefully. Part of him believed the entire evening must be an illusion, a clever theatrical trick. But another part of him, the quiet part that wondered about the deeper structure of reality, was not so certain. The third item arrived. Inside the glass case was a plain notebook with a black cover. The auctioneer rested her hand gently upon it. "This notebook," she said, "records the exact moment when its owner will experience the happiest day of their life." The audience leaned forward. "It does not reveal what happens on that day, only the date." A man near the aisle laughed softly. "What if the date is tomorrow?" "Then you will know to appreciate tomorrow very carefully," the auctioneer replied. The bidding began. Arthur tried not to think about it, but the idea slipped into his mind like a quiet whisper. What if you knew? What if you knew the precise day when happiness would reach its highest point? The bids rose rapidly. 50,000, 80,000, 100,000. Arthur suddenly raised his hand. The room seemed to pause for a fraction of a second. 110,000, the auctioneer said. Arthur did not have that kind of money, but he kept his hand raised. The numbers climbed higher. 120,000, 130. Arthur swallowed. 140,000, the auctioneer announced. Arthur lowered his hand. Another bidder won the notebook. Arthur felt a strange mixture of relief and disappointment. The auction continued, a compass that pointed towards the most important decision of your life, a pair of spectacles that allowed the wearer to recognize a lie instantly. Each item was purchased with increasing desperation. Finally, the auctioneer raised her hand. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, "our final item." The assistant carried forward a small mirror framed in brass. The audience waited. "This mirror," said the auctioneer, "reveals the truth about the person looking into it." The room fell silent. "Opening bid, 20,000. No one moved. Arthur felt a sudden chill. People were willing to buy answers about the past, the future, happiness, lies. But truth about themselves? That seemed to be another matter entirely. The silence stretched. Arthur stood. 20,000, he said. The auctioneer nodded. "Do we have 25? No response. The hammer fell. "Sold!" Arthur walked slowly onto the stage, his heartbeat echoing in his ears. The mirror was handed to him. It looked completely ordinary. The audience watched closely. Arthur hesitated, then he lifted the mirror. For a long moment he simply stared. The reflection did not change shape. No dramatic transformation occurred. There was no flash of light. He only saw his own face. But gradually, as he continued looking, something unexpected happened. He began to notice details he usually ignored. The faint lines near his eyes from years of laughter, the tiredness from late nights of reading, the quiet curiosity that had followed him since childhood. And behind all of it, a simple truth. He had not come to the auction because he believed in impossible objects. He had come because he hoped something extraordinary might still exist in the world. Arthur lowered the mirror and turned toward the audience. The auctioneer watched him carefully. "Well?" she asked. Arthur smiled. "It works perfectly," he said. The audience laughed nervously. Arthur walked back to his seat, carrying the mirror. As the crowd slowly left the theatre later that night, many people glanced at him with quiet curiosity. What had he seen? Arthur steps outside into the rain. For the first time in many years, the world did not feel ordinary. As he walked away through the shining streets, he realized something remarkable. The mirror had not shown him a secret. It had only reminded him that the most extraordinary things in life are usually the ones we already possess, but rarely take the time to see. That night, Arthur placed the mirror on his desk. He never needed to look into it again. Vocabulary notes. Pedestal. Meaning. A pedestal is a base or stand used to support or display an object so that it can be clearly seen and admired. Important or valuable items are often placed on pedestals in museums, galleries, or exhibitions. Example: an assistant rolled forward a small pedestal upon which rested a simple silver watch. Similar words: stand, plinth, base, platform, support. Murmur. Meaning: a murmur is a soft, low sound made by many people speaking quietly at the same time, often expressing curiosity, surprise, or uncertainty. Example: a murmur spread through the theatre. Similar words: whisper, low chatter, rustle, hum, subdued talk. Hesitate. Meaning: when someone hesitates, they pause before doing something because they are uncertain, cautious, or thinking carefully about their decision. Example: Arthur hesitated, then he lifted the mirror. Similar words: pause, waver, falter, delay, think twice. Relic. Meaning: a relic is an old and valuable object that has survived from an earlier time, often connected with history or an important event. People usually treat relics with great care and respect. Example: finally, a woman in the front row purchased the watch for £120,000. She clutched it as if it were a fragile relic. Similar words: artifact, keepsake, treasure, memento, historical object. Extraordinary, meaning extraordinary describes something that is very unusual, remarkable, or surprising in a positive way. It is far beyond what is ordinary or expected. Example: he had come because he hoped something extraordinary might still exist in the world. Similar words: remarkable, exceptional, astonishing, amazing, outstanding. Story written by ChatGPT. Image created by ChatGPT. To read, see all the stories, content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, Drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.